Hi, my name is Brian, and I'll be doing a presentation on New Historicism. First, let's talk about the origins of the school of criticism. New Historicism emerged in the 1980s as a response to earlier literacy approaches like New Criticism. New Criticism focused on analyzing texts in isolation without considering their historical or cultural backgrounds. This new school of criticism was shaped by ideas from cultural theory, anthropology, and postmodern thought. New Historicism sought to connect literature with its broader historical and cultural contexts. Stephen Greenblatt was a key contributor to New Historicism. In his book, Renaissance Self-Fashioning, From War to Shakespeare, he introduces the idea that people and their identities are shaped by cultural, social, and historical forces found around them. Greenblatt examined how writers like Shakespeare engaged with the beliefs, ideas, and political events of their time, showing that literature is deeply intertwined with the world that it was produced. Moving on to the background. The end of the Cold War in the 1980s played a key role in the emergence of New Historicism. This period of political conflict between the US and Soviet Union highlighted how literature was influenced by historical and cultural context of this time. During this period, writers weren't just telling stories, they were reflecting the world around them, its fears, hopes, and conflicts. Every book became a historical document, capturing the state of the world during its time. Examples of this would be Tom Clancy's The Hunt for Red October. It showcases the significant role that historical and cultural context plays in shaping literature. To use this critical viewpoint, you must know the historical context of when this book was written. It could be war, social movements, international relationships, but you need to know what was going on during that time. Also, by examining the literacy movements of the era, such as modernism or realism, we gain a deeper understanding of the text theme. Most importantly, we must look at the author's life and experiences. Understanding their personal life will give us a deeper grasp of their writing. Moving on to details of application. When analyzing a work through a New Historicism approach, we look at the specific historical events or periods that have influenced its creation. For instance, a novel written during wartime might be analyzed for its portrayal of war, national identity, or political allegiances, showing how the author's perspective is shaped by the events of their era. New Historicism also asks us to examine how a text responds to the cultural norms and values of its time. This means considering social issues like race, gender, and class, and exploring how these issues are reflected in these characters, themes, and narrative structure. For example, a text written through the civil rights movement might engage with the themes of racial inequality and social justice, offering insight to the cultural climate of the time. New Historicism also encourages us to look closely at the author's life and the historical context that they lived in. Understanding the author's own social status, political beliefs, and personal experiences can reveal how they were influenced by or reacted to the events and movements of their time. For instance, knowing an author's stance on gender equality might deepen our understanding of how their work portrays gender roles. This is why knowing about their personal life is important. Another central aspect of New Historicism is exploring how power functions within the text in its historical context. This includes analyzing how characters respond to authority, how systems of control upheld or challenged, and whether the text critiques or supports these power structures. New Historicism also emphasizes the importance of the literacy period in shaping a text's meaning. Each period, such as Romanticism or Modernism, reflects the cultural, political, and intellectual concerns of its time. For instance, Romantic literature often critiqued industrial progress and celebrated individualism, while modernist works use experimental forms to reflect on the chaos and alienation following World War I. By situating a text within its literacy period, New Historicism reveals how it engages with the dominant themes and ideologies of the era, offering deeper insight into its historical and cultural significance. Finally, applying New Historicism to Fahrenheit 451. Starting off with the historical context. Fahrenheit 451 was published in 1953 during the Cold War, a period of political tension, censorship, and a fear of communism. The rise of McCarthyism and the threat of nuclear war influenced Bradbury's portrayal of the dystopian society where free thought was suppressed. The novel's focus on censorship and book burning mirrors real-world concerns about the suppression of ideas, such as the blacklisting of artists and writers in the United States. Next, cultural context. The 1950s were marked by the growing influence of television and mass media, which Bradbury critiques in the novel. The society in Fahrenheit 451 is consumed by shallow entertainment, with people disconnected from meaningful human experiences. This reflects Bradbury's fears about how technological advancements could erode critical thinking and interpersonal relationships. Next, literary period. Fahrenheit 451 aligns with the themes of post-war literature, particularly the focus on alienation and the resistance to conformity. Like other works of dystopian fiction for this period, Bradbury's novel critiques the dangers of dictatorship and the loss of individuality. The literary period's emphasis on questioning societal norms is central to the novel's exploration of rebellion through Montag's journey toward enlightenment. Last but not least, power dynamics. The novel portrays a society where authority controls information to maintain power. Through the fireman's role of destroying books, Bradbury illustrates how censorship is used to suppress dissent and enforce conformity. Montag's awakening represents a challenge to these systems of control, showing the potential for individual resistance against oppressive forces. Thank you for watching.